Hello good yo-yo people, I'm Nate and this is Let's Talk Yo-Yo. Today I have a review for you from Anomaly YoYos. This is my review of the Euphonious. Yeah, I've not reviewed anything from Anomaly YoYos, and so it's a fairly new company. Let's have at it. First off, what you need to know about the Euphonious, as far as in the hand section, it is stainless steel. Now the one I have here is actually blasted, and that is actually really nice. I have not felt this sort of a satiny blast for a stainless steel yo-yo. It also has, even though it's small, it has that bell sort of sound, because you can kind of thin it out quite a bit, like you would maybe do with titanium. I'm not sure the density in comparison to titanium, but it kind of has that same sort of ring to it. It is an undersized or even pocket size yo-yo, fairly small, but it also kind of has a fairly wide catch zone though for a mini yo-yo. The other thing that is really cool about it too is it's a D-size bearing. It's a concave D-size bearing, and that's awesome. So a smaller diameter bearing, still the same width, so you're gonna have an unresponsive yo-yo still and everything like that, but I think that's a really good adjustment, and that's a really good design feature for a small yo-yo in the first place. Yeah, the diameter of this is 48 millimeters, so it's certainly below undersized. I would consider 50 millimeter that undersized feel. This is below that. This is into that mini yo-yo, pocket yo-yo friendly sort of thing. The cups there, it has that sort of you know, sort of like a wave sort of effect there, or it kind of ripples out. Those spikes, you should be able to matador with them. We'll go ahead and try that on the string. You should also be able to finger spin okay on that. It's a fairly deep bowl, but it is smaller because the diameter's smaller as well. So you might not have quite as much room as maybe on something that's a little larger, but you should be able to do that. Like I said, I really like this blast on there. You know, he said, hey, which one do you want? They does come in a glossier finish as well, but I really wanted to see what this finish was going to feel like, and it feels just as good as a lot of aluminum based yo-yos are. Really like that. Again, I really like that D-size bearing. I think that's a great trend, but I think that also fits this yo-yo as well. I think it's smart to have a smaller diameter of a bearing on a smaller yo-yo, just because you're going to have a little bit less of that kickback whenever you go for a bind. You know what I mean? If you see a lot of micro yo-yos, sometimes you get that little extra kick that you don't really desire in a bind, where you're feeling you have to reach for it, or kind of feels like it tugs like halfway up the string. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? I don't know a better way to talk about it. You're going to maybe feel a little bit less of that. We'll talk more about that on the actual string section when we play it. But yeah, overall, really like the design of it. I think it's really nice that they thinned that out and really took advantage of the metal there. So again, you can, isn't that nice? That's really nice. All right, let's go and actually play it and see how it plays on the string. All right, couple things off the bat. First off, actually, let's talk about the weight, because a lot of mini yo-yos, micro yo-yos, pocket-sized yo-yos tend to feel really kind of like, because of the small diameter of them, all that weight is, I don't know, it feels more like a brick, and it just tends to be a little bit more cumbersome. I think what was smart about this yo-yo of using the metal that they use, the stainless steel, you can thin out those walls. I mean, these walls are really thin. I mean, let's take a look again. Very, very thin, and because of that, you have a little bit more of the weight distribution spread out. It is a little bit more, actually I would say it's more in the center of there, so it has a little bit of that stability sort of kind of design, but it's not uber rim weighted. It's actually not rim weighted at all. But with that, I feel like if it was rim weighted, you would kind of have an overall weight feel along the design, and it would feel more like a brick. This one does not. It feels nice and light. I don't feel like it's just got a major thud whenever I throw it. The other thing, that D-size bearing is doing exactly what it should do. You can really feel it on a bind. I've thrown a lot of yoyos that are in this diameter that have a C-size bearing, and you can feel it. Like I was talking about in the hand section, whenever you go to bind, for instance, you'll feel it kind of tug right in the middle. And you're kind of almost either sometimes reaching for it, or it just kind of feels, I don't know, you just have to be careful or just change up your bind. You can adjust for that and play, but I feel like this plays like something that would be full size, and it feels like something that would be full size on a bind. That's really good. In the hand, it's actually really comfortable. It feels even wider than it is because it opens up really nicely in that H-shaped design. Let's also talk about that blast and see how it performs. Since you don't typically always see stainless steel yo-yos blasted, let's see how it grinds. Not bad at all. Let's see if we can matador with those spikes like I talked about. Yeah. Let's go and try a normal finger spin and see how it performs with that. Yeah, you can roll that around there. That was kind of on me. But yeah, it does roll around there a little bit more. That design there, right along here, that's kind of where I'm trying to catch. And it does pop out a little bit because it's not really super high there. But it's very possible, very capable if you wish to do a finger spin. I like matadoring with it though. That's kind of a cool way to do a finger spin with that. Let's go ahead and test the gap out on some like string wraps. It is losing a little bit of spin time there, but maybe I just did a few too many wraps. Let's see. On a thumb grind, it's not really going to do that at all. You could maybe tilt it, you know, drastically and do something like that, but of course you're going to go off plane like I just did. Speaking of off plane, let's go ahead and see if we can do something horizontal and see how it performs with that. I mean, the shape is good for it. Now the shape is pretty good for something like horizontal, but the diameter is not so good. It's not a very heavy rim-weighted yo-yo, even though actually it's fairly stable, I think just because of its size in general, and it has a little bit more of that kind of centering weight, so it does have that stability there. I don't feel like it's going off the plane at all, but I think if it was a larger yo-yo, that's going to be more beneficial for something like horizontal play. Man, overall, I think one of the questions that people ask a lot of times with mini yo-yos or pocket yo-yos or undersized yo-yos even, are they just as capable as a full-size or mid-size yo-yo? And not always. This one is, and I think they were smart of some of the little picky design things, everything from the D-size bearing to kind of increase the center of gravity on that to bring it in so it's a little bit more stable. Also, the weight distribution is really smart with it, and the material that they picked. All right, so I'm not gonna necessarily throw a trick today. I'm actually gonna ask you for some advice. All right, so I have this weird little front style mount, like sort of instant mount that I've been getting into, and I'm not sure what to do with it. I've been kind of messing with some of it, but I don't really like what I'm finding yet. It's kind of odd. But I'll show it to you and maybe kind of explain a little mini tutorial for it, and then we'll have some last minute remarks on the Euphonious. That's the mount. Did you catch that? Alright, so it's like, it pops up like that. I just like the motion of it. Not sure, again, what to do with that. So it pops up to the back and goes under the string. So it's kind of like a double or nothing, almost, but like front style. I like just like that. You can catch a lot of air with that. So I'm not sure. I don't know what to do with it. I really like front style tricks, but don't know. But just kind of messing with that. So I don't know if anyone's done something like that, or maybe even what it might be called, but I like that. So like I said, the Euphonious, actually, let's look up what euphonious means really quick. Euphonious is a sound, especially speech, pleasing to the ear, used in a sentence. This successful candidate delivers a stream of fine, Euphonious phrases. Euphonious phrases. Okay. Yeah. Why do they name it that? I don't know. That would be a good question for Anomaly YoYos. I should have asked them. Maybe it's the... Maybe it's that? Maybe. Maybe it's that sort of bell kind of sound that you can get from it. Perhaps. I like the Euphonious. I think it's a really great mini yo-yo. I think it's smart. I think it's going to stand out a little bit from some others that are maybe out there. That D-size bearing was a smart little maneuver to pull that in. I also really like the fact that they blasted it and it kind of looks really nice and it has that matte finish and you can grind with it really well, and it's a cool little yo-yo. It feels even bigger than it actually is in the hand also. It's not cumbersome. It's not just kind of a rock on the end of a string. It's not sluggish. It feels very capable, has decent spin times and has decent balance as well for a mini yo-yo. Incredible good balance for a mini yo-yo. Man, good stuff. That's my review of the Euphonious by Anomaly YoYos, and as usual, good day and good yo-yo. Isn't that a pleasing sound to the ear?